Great news, the spacers have arrived. Now I've gone with precision hub-centric wheel spacers. These guys here, they've got some pretty good reviews. They are carbon steel and quite light actually, to be honest with you. But yeah, hub-centric, very nicely finished in black. We have a pair of those, and I have gone with OEM extended wheel nuts, 19mm. So what I'm going to do, I have just realised actually with the wheel nuts that I've now lost my lock-in wheel nut for the rear. So I have 10 standard OEM bolts, so I'm going to have to look into getting a couple of extended lock-in nuts, bolts for the car. Still, never mind. Right, let's take a look. I'm going to fit one today. The next video should well be about the reveal. These were, I think, £59. They came with wheel nuts, but I managed to get hold of some from a friend of mine, new ones. So I've gone with the Porsche ones. They look very similar. They're in the packet still, but they'll do as spares. I'm not going to worry about those. Right, let's have a look at how it looks without the spacers, and then we'll slot one on and take a look at what it looks like with them on. Okay, car on the ground. This is how the wheel sits as standard. If we go virtually bang on level with the arch, there's very little overhang. And if I go to the side here, I'm off centre there, but it gives you an idea. Of how the wheel is sitting. Like I say, the current side view is there. That tyre does not protrude even the lower arch at all. So that's without the spacer. That's just the standard 11J 19-inch rim. And now let's put the spacer on and see what it looks like. Now, it fits on there beautifully, but something I'm concerned about is the fact that it's not the same size as the brake disc hub. I'm losing, what, a good quarter of an inch of face contact there, which I'll be losing on the back of the wheel to the hub. So that is no good to me whatsoever. So we'll have to go back to Precision and get this sorted out, because they need to be changed. They cannot go on there. Well, I contacted Precision, and their technical department was very helpful, and basically I explained that the Precision disc spacer wasn't the right size for the hub, and the lady there said to me that it's purely a cosmetic issue, which I declined to accept on the grounds that I couldn't understand why reducing the size of the spacer, hence reducing the contact between your wheel and your hub in diameter, was a cosmetic issue. For me, it was more of a safety issue. The car wasn't designed that way with that size hubs, so the replacement part should have been the same size. So she didn't argue the point and said, you know, fair enough. She said, that's not a problem, send them back. They don't do an alternative. She did say to me that, oh, there's a number of different size hubs, etc, etc, but I had a look online on the 911s, and there's got to be 30, maybe 40, possibly more, that have exactly the same diameter hub on the back of the car. So I didn't really, you know, I wasn't impressed with the answers that I got. Cosmetic wasn't the answer for me, and not something that I was willing to accept, but they were good enough. They took them back, and they are refunding me accordingly. But in the meantime, I went out and purchased another set from a company online called TWD. Picture. They've arrived. Now, they're not OEM, but they arrived a couple of days ago. These ones are polished. I think you can just about make out on there the 5x130, which is your wheel spacers, and your 71.6, it is hub diameter. But yeah, two of those. From the pictures you can see the difference on this outer face, how much wider it is, because this one is the right size for the hub. The other issue I had with the Precision one was that, you know, you had half this space. If I put a little mark on here, like that, you were missing that much off the outer edge, which put those bolts very close. You know, there wasn't a great deal there between the bolt and the outer edge, the outer diameter. So I'm so much happier with these. We'll offer them up in a second. So we've got two of those at 15mm, and the bolts, their original manufacturer specification, they come in little individual bags, but you've got your nice little dome in the center and your rotating washer on the outside with the same little imprints around it. Obviously just 15mm longer. So we've got 10 of those and 2 spacers. Let's go and offer the spacer up to the car and we'll have a quick look. Now these are hub-centric spacers, which means they center on the hub to allow perfect wheel alignment. Let me just have a little look. You can't see that there, but that's lining up perfectly, but you can see that they fit on there beautifully. And the difference from the previous ones is that is perfectly flush across the top to the drum. So you're going to have full contact of your wheel on there, which is a major safety concern for me, and I will have better peace of mind knowing that is the case. Right, fitting the wheel back on the car with the spacer in tow. I'm going to put the spacer inside of the wheel and just put a couple of bolts through to hold it in place. Sorry you can't see this. Okay, like so. I'm going to try and get it in that tiny space with the camera there, but we'll have a go. We'll have a go. If I knock the camera, I do apologise. Now I have got on the floor some blocks to sit that wheel on. Okay, so you can see what I'm trying to achieve here. Another thing I like about these wheels is the fact that you've got all this space to get your hand in for cleaning, as well as intricate fiddly little jobs like this. Okay, so now so my wheel is pretty much at height because it's sitting on my block, and I'm just gonna, sorry I've rocked the camera, and I'm just gonna lift it up like that, rest my knee against the bottom, and let's just see if we're locating. And what do you know, we're not. Oh, I see. Okay, hold on. I've got to turn my wheel a little bit. There we go. One's gone in. So heavy, these damn things. And I'm just gonna do those two up by hand, like so. So the wheel's sitting on there. Now, I was going to paint these because obviously the ones from Precision were black, which I quite liked. These ones have come in the polished alley. Now, I actually quite like that at the moment, but I can imagine it's going to dull with wear and tear, etc. So maybe I'll run them for the season that way, and next year, if they're starting to look a bit rough around the edges, either think about lacquering them or painting the outer edge with the inner graphite grey. Okay, wheel on the car. I'm not going to lower it this time because I've got something under the car which I can't pull out at the minute. But if we get in line, we can just make out that the tyre is sitting right on the edge of the arch, which is beautiful. Gives it a far better aggressive look. And down at the lower end, I don't think I can get the camera in there, can I? No, not really, but yeah, you get the gist. And I quite like the fact this is polished. The Precision ones were black, which were very nice. I quite like them, but these ones are polished alley. Now I can imagine that over time they're going to dull down, etc. But I might leave them as they are. I was going to blow them in the same colour as the inner wheels, but I'll leave them for now. I'll run them for the year and see how they wear. Now, a thing as well, when you're removing your wheel with your spacer, you know, some people put a bit of grease behind them and stuff like that. I'm not really keen to put anything between the two. I want to keep that face clean and also as tight as possible. When you if you prop your wheel up a little bit so that it's almost sitting on something before you remove your bolts, take your bolts out but leave them in, because otherwise what's going to happen is that center is probably your spacer is probably going to drop down and crack and scratch your insides of your rims. So either put a rag in here just so if it does drop in the wheel it's not going to do any damage, or if you leave the two bolts in and bring them out gently, with any luck your spacer should come out sitting on the two studs. But beautiful, well pleased with that, nice job. So we got there in the end. TWD, Tech World Direct, they're available, or they've got a shop on eBay. www.stores.ebay.co.uk, Tech World Direct, if you can see that. There you go. They come with comprehensive instructions, things you should do and not do. One of the main things is obviously making sure you use the right bolts. For example, your standard bolt is that long and your replacement bolt is that long, 15mm, obviously to take in consideration your spacer. Do not be tempted to use these bolts, very dangerous. I'm not even sure if they'll bite, but they might, but they'll come off. But yeah, super product, well pleased, nicely engineered, hub centric, nice polished finish. Be careful when you're using wheel cleaners and stuff like that, because that can be detrimental to this sort of product. I've gone back to using just a basic wheel cleaner, not one of these fancy ones that changes colour, etc. Because if you've got lacquered wheels and stuff like that, it's harsh. It cleans them, and it's a little bit harsh on the surface and can accelerate deterioration. So that's about it for that. Thanks again. Tech World Direct, if you want to send me, this video is not sponsored by them in any shape or form, but if you do want to send me, a complimentary 911, I'll gladly receive it in any condition. All right, even if it's in bits in a box, I'll have it. But anyway, let's do a few comments now. I've got a bit of feedback to answer, and then we can move on. Still got the reveal to come up of the actual wheels on the car on the ground, which is coming up in the next video or two. And of course the modification, the last of my mods for this season, which is going to be the front splitter. Controversial. Anyway, comment time. Okay, comments and shout out times. This one goes back to the clutch switch replacement pedal thing that I did when I was having that P.M.M fault. God, that's got to be a while ago. I haven't even got a date for it, but anyway. Richard Moist, which is quite interesting. Hi Richard, he had the same problems that I was experiencing and tried most of the fixes without any results. One day it came to him that maybe the brake actuator arm was not pushing hard enough on the switch. So he went out and tried the curse control with no results. He then pulled back the brake pedal arm with his toe, and the cruise worked again. Now, he's now got 2 layers of Gorilla Tape on the brake arm, and the cruise control is working fine. The jury's still out on his ABS PSM problem. ABS PSM has not failed after I pulled the brake arm back, so we will see. Duct tape is doing the job. Well done, Richard. The wheels, what wheels did I buy video? Slanter. Hello there, Slanter. Wrong accent, I'm sure. He's got a 2006 C4S, and it does have the TPMS modules fitted. This will be me talking about the fact that I removed my TPS sensors from my turbo wheels because they're in there. My existing classics didn't have them, and I couldn't find I plugged my car in, and I don't appear to have the TPS sensors system on the car, so I just opted to do away with it in the wheels. So what's he saying? He's got the sensors in his car, just above the ABS comp under the covers. So yeah, I've heard conflicting remarks about TPS. They only last, they've got a little tiny battery inside them, and they only last 3 or 4 years anyway, by all accounts. So of course, I imagine if you've got one failing, then it's going to throw up all kinds of issues. And I've heard, generally, the rule of thumb, people say you're better off without it. But, it's one of those subjects. You either love it or you hate it. The brake light switch again. This was only 2 weeks ago. Richard Moist. Oh, again, he's got the same problem. He's tried everything. He's tried pulling his brake pedal back, and all the problems cleared. I've heard something about that. You can get play or slack in the brake pedal arm, and that can interfere with the switch. Another little trick as well that I learned, that if you drive the car along with a slight bit of pressure on the clutch pedal or the brake pedal, that will throw up a PSM fault after a while. It's sensing something's not right, and it's telling you that you've got an issue. So his problem seems to be that his brake pedal just was not coming back enough. The other thing with those switches as well, they're like a toggle, like a sprung loaded switch, and it's fully extended, and they're supposed to adjust. They're on a ratchet. It's a strange scenario, but if they're in too far, if they're fully compressed, they don't pop out as much as if you pull them out a bit more, and they stay there because they just adjust to the position between the top of the switch and the plate on the pedal. Cheers for that, Richard. David Bagnall, this was a few months ago, water pump, pulleys and belt diagnostic. Just saying, thanks for making the video. I've got this job to look forward to on my 996. And he said it's just been very helpful. So thanks a lot indeed, David, for that one. What else have we got? I think quite a few brake light switches. Random internet user. Who's that? Great advice and information. This is on the brake light switch again. Yeah, great advice and information. Unless you want to mess about more than usual, buy Porsche parts. Well, the switches I bought were Porsche. To be honest with you, they're not that dear anyway, so I don't even know why you contemplate buying a pattern one. I think there's probably about £5 in it, something like that. He also did his brake light switch on his 73 930 in the front on the master cylinder, and that was very, very complicated by all accounts. So yeah, we're pretty much up to speed on the questions, and that for now. I've still got a few to reply to. There's so many, and I will do it. It's just time and me getting organised. It's been a challenge doing the video a week special. That's going to run right into March without a doubt, because now that when you see this video, to try and get this right, when you see this video, you will have seen the jet tyres and the wheels, the tyre changeovers. So after this video, I can tell you we will be doing basically the reveal in terms of finally all wheels on the car, on the ground, give it a little clean up, give you the walk round. The next video after the walk round video is going to be about fitting the front splitter. So we'll see. Like I say, I've looked at that splitter. It looks okay. I don't know if I'm actually personally going to like it, but we're going to do it. It's, you know, they say you can fit them, just a little bit of info. They say you can fit those splitters, jack them up in the air and do them upside down, but I'm going to do it a better way in my mind, and I'm going to take the bumper off so I can properly square it up and make sure it's all spot on. Also, there are a number of hidden pipes underneath the front of your existing bumper, and if you start drilling into it randomly, you could nick something very, very expensive. So I'll be taking the bumper off, but that's all to come in the following weeks. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Glad I've got my spacers sorted out finally. Special thanks to all those people that are commenting and writing in. I'm up to about 425, 430 subscribers at the moment. I'm trying to get to 500 for my birthday, which is in the middle to the end of March. That's when the channel Porsche Minor Mechanics is officially a year old. So I've done a new intro, which I'm sure you've seen. I hope you like it. When the sun comes out, I'm going to get the car out, I'm going to get the drone up, I'm going to get some nice footage, and I'm going to get somebody to put an intro together for me who actually knows what they're doing. So anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching. Like and subscribe. Take care, you guys. See you soon. Bye for now.